Hey guys, this is Joshua Seth, voice of Ty on Digimon, and you're listening to Anime Secrets.
Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Oh, yes! This is Goldar, and you're listening to Toku Secrets Podcast. Don't tune us out, tune us in!
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin time! Link to the Morphin Force. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Smokin' Silver.
I'm Patrick Allen, I'm Shinken Red.
And I'm Rizwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And I'm Anthony Davis, also known as Kyoryu Green. And we're Toku Secrets.
Welcome, everyone, once again to the Toku Secrets podcast presented by animesecrets.org. And today we are going to be taking a look at it. We're going to be taking a break from our regular Sentai reviews to instead review what is a new series of issues for the Power Rangers Boom Studios comics. And what's cool is that unlike our previous comics reviews where it's just been Riz and me, we actually have Patrick and Anthony on this time. Definitely glad to have everybody on. So what comic are we reviewing? Well, we are reviewing a series called Power Rangers Prime. The first issue has just been released here in November of 2024. And we don't know how many issues are going to be released, but it's going to be going on for quite some time. So at least once a month, we will be taking a look at each issue, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun reviewing this. So a little bit of background information before we jump in. The story for Power Rangers Prime is written by Melissa Flores. The artwork is done by Michael YG Yig. Don't know how to pronounce that, and I do apologize for that. And the coloring is done by Fabi Marquez. So, that's all the information. No, other people big people that we know, like actors, like how Amy Jo Johnson was involved in the Rebirth. It's just another Boom Studios thing, which, according to Rizwan, that's kind of what we got going on now these days with how the comics are, because they kind of discontinued the bigger Boom Studio stuff. So now we're just getting newer stories here and there. But we're going to be taking a look at it. So this is issue number 1. So, we kind of get established, what this whole story is about. And to my knowledge, this is so. Riz, can you clarify? This is part of a separate universe, like different from the Boom Studio, the original Boom Studio.
Yeah, so this is a different universe altogether. It's basically a reboot of the Boom Studio comics. Kind of in the same way that you have different continuities in Marvel or DC with like Marvel Ultimate or whatever different multiverse things we had in Marvel Universe. I'm not really a big comic person in general, but that's the basic idea there.
Yep. So, in this universe, Earth has been colonized by Eltarians, Eltar, the people of Eltar, which, if you've seen the main universe, that is the homeworld of Zordon. And it has basically, so what happened was that many years ago, a race of invaders called the Beast Brigade, they attacked Earth, and the Eltarians, who were the saviors, who were the peacekeepers of the whole universe, they arrived and they stopped the Beast Brigade from destroying Earth. And as a result, they were welcomed to Earth. And now, basically, Eltarians have imposed this new not quite authoritarian. Like it's not like some dystopian future, but it is very much this type of future where like order is kind of maintained, and they don't believe that heroes should exist. So stuff like that, and within this universe, and this is the way that the comic kicks off. We see Lauren, yes, the second Red Samurai Ranger, Laura Shiba herself. She's being attacked by some of the Eltarians, like the equivalent of their police force, basically. And she tries to morph, but then she gets the samurais are knocked out of her hand, and she gets beaten and injured really badly. And then when she's out hiding, she gets found by this refugee character. His name is Mark Zhao, who we later find out, and you can tell from the artwork too, that he is a half human, half Aquitian, so Aquitar, like the Alien Rangers. And he covers for Lauren and then takes her in to live with him. And he's also attending Angel Grove University, where that's Mark, that is. And we learn a little bit more about his past, how his world was destroyed, and he was brought to and he came to Earth as a refugee. And we see we're given the point of view and everything. And then meanwhile, back at his apartment, Lauren meets up with Mark's roommate, who's taking care of her, and her roommate is none other than Orion. Yes, Orion, the silver super Megaforce Ranger himself, who is who's a student, and he's also from Andrasia, just like his main series counterpart. And we're also so that pretty much sets everything up. And then Mark is also being questioned by the police, by when he was for housing Lauren, but then he gets bailed out by this other person who's part of Angel Grove University called June. And Lauren, meanwhile, tells the story of the Samurai Rangers and everything that's happened from their point of view. How her family, from parent to child, passed down their powers, just like how the Samurai Rangers did, from like feudal Japan to medieval London and colonial United States. But then when the Eltarians took over, her family was hunted down, and so we get all that stuff established. Plus, the VR Troopers are here. The VR Troopers are also established as a TV show here. Which Riz, didn't you say that the VR Troopers were? Wait, were the VR Troopers in other comics, or are they just a TV show in this specific universe?
This is the first time we have seen VR Troopers in anything Power Rangers ever. Prior to this, VR Troopers was its own TV show that was owned by Saban back in the 90s. There's some interesting stuff I want to talk about, that, but we'll wait until we're done with the synopsis and we'll cover that more.
Okay. But yeah, and then after we get, all the backstory with Lauren and, how the Altarians took over, as well as some of the backstory with the Samurai Rangers, a meteor crashes to Earth, but it turns out to not just be a meteor. It is actually a space dumpster. And you guys can guess what happens here. The space dumpster opens, and a new villainess, who is apparently Rita, the same Rita at the end of another comic line from Power Rangers called Darkest Hour. That version of Rita has apparently come, because after so many years, she's free, and it is time for her to conquer Earth. And that's how the comic ends, with it to be continued.
Again.
And there's some cool Easter eggs here. We just brought up the VR Trooper stuff, with all that. Mark Zhao's refugee number is 022893, which is a reference to the date of the original air date of Power Rangers Day of the Dumpster, which was August 28th, 1993. And Zardes is the leader of the Altarians that colonizes Earth. And I think Anthony is probably the better one who can explain that. Can you go ahead, Anthony?
Yeah, sure. Basically, he is the major antagonist of the Eltarian War arc that was in the original Boom Studios comic series. He and Zordon have history. They've known each other for a long time. Um, I think he was in charge. I think since was what happened with Zordon, he ended up being in charge of the Eltarians at the time. Zordon had no clue that his people were still alive and thriving, because they were like really like, I think the last time, I think because he's been in prison for like thousands of years, so he had no idea like his people were still or like more advanced than what they were before.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty much Zartar is like that one dude who's like, yeah, we want to conquer planets. Like we want to like help planets, but we really want to conquer them and like kind of like make them into our own. And that's what happened in this universe. The Rangers actually were going to be try to help them. Like, they didn't know the Rangers had no clue that these guys were going to be like, bad news or whatever. So a whole bunch of stuff happens. With the war, and they were allies at one point, but then they, turn on, obviously. What else happened? It's been a while since I've read it, so yeah, bear with me. That's pretty much gist of it. That's gist of it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good enough gist for right now. I think at some point we'll try and cover some of these comics as well on Tokyo Secrets.
Yeah. I can also say that with him disappearing, this is where he ended up at, Zoltar, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. So the thing that I'm a little hesitant to say is that this is the same Zartus from that continuity. It could just be this universe's version of Zartus that, came and conquered Earth. It doesn't have to be that same one from that universe. But just the fact that the character exists here is also really cool to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can look it up real quick just to be on the safe side, because I'm very particular about these.
While he's doing that, do we kind of want to jump in, our overall thoughts?
Yeah, so I'll go quick. I'm in love with this comic line already. I thought it was really creative to bring in so many different elements that are not Mighty Morphin into the season, into the comic that, don't get a lot of attention otherwise. Like, Lauren has no real time to sign, even in her own season. She's only in there for like 3 or 4 episodes at the most.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like a discarded afterthought, basically. So it's really cool to see that she gets some time to really flesh out her character and have something to do outside of being the chosen one that is there in the background. So that was pretty cool. I also just like the thematics that we're dealing with here of like colonialism, refugees, and all these different topics that are coming together in this new universe. It makes her a more mature tone than what we got in the Power Rangers TV show. So I do enjoy that quite a bit. Especially given we are seeing a lot of colonialism still in this very day and age right now. So I think it's really awesome to have, Power Rangers kind of be a commentary on current events in our world, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
Patrick, what do you think? You've been quiet.
Maybe it's just because of how I think, but I respect them being a little bit more, I guess, bold with the direction they're taking with this, but it's not really doing anything for me. Like, truth be told, I got nothing from this. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because it started off really slow and they're kind of like establishing this new continuity and everything, but it just didn't gel with me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's not for everyone, obviously. And
I'll give it a fair chance and give it a few issues, but just like my first impressions were, I don't know. I didn't get much from it.
Yeah.
I don't know if missing context from the Mighty Morphin Boom run helps or hurts it, because I feel like that might help some, but
Yeah, but it's a
I don't think it's
long read. That's all I gotta tell you. Because
the other thing I really want to say is Boom Studios really loves Lauren.
I mean, I can't blame them. Lauren was a great character.
Yeah, it's just weird how it's like, because she was kind of a key piece in Shattered Grid as well. So it's just bizarre how, like, out of all the non-Mighty Morphin Rangers they use, she seems to be like the main one they like to focus on.
I mean, I didn't really see that part with the Shattered Grid stuff. I definitely need to read the Shattered Grid, especially since that might be something that we're going to be taking a look at here at some point. But I mean, I'm all for them kind of focusing on Lauren, and honestly, like the fact that they're focusing more on these obscure characters. Like when I saw that it was Lauren, that was the thing where I'm not going to say that like it's got me hooked, like I was completely blown away by it, but I'm at least intrigued to see with the direction of what they go with, because I don't know. I mean, I find Lauren to be pretty interesting, and I'm glad that they have Orion here, because Orion could have been a good character if he had been in a better season. So I'm intrigued to see what they do with those characters, and I think at some point, I'm assuming that character is Jason. He makes a cameo here at one point, so I'm intrigued to see how they. There's this character like in that one panel where they show the dumpster about to crash to Earth. There was someone in a red jacket or hoodie or something with the Mighty Morphin logo on the.
Oh
on the
yeah. I see it.
yeah, so because basically this is a timeline where if Rita wasn't a thing, well, obviously she is in the comic, but if she never came to Earth that first time, and the Eltarians had never came to Earth, helped to assist them in battle. This is pretty much why everything is the way it is, because in the original timeline, obviously, Rita comes to Earth, Zom recruits 5 Rangers, 5 kids to become Rangers. It's more for time, etc., etc. But here, that didn't happen. So everybody who did live through that is going through completely different lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will also mention, Nate, one thing I noticed that we didn't talk about. That girl with the yellow headband at the track. She will probably end up being a Yellow Ranger because she also has the Mighty Morphin logo on her headband, which is yellow, by the way.
Makes sense.
And she looks a lot like Aisa, so it could be related in some way to that as well. She has the same kind of vibe as Aisa did.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. Now that I'm looking at the art, yeah, she probably will be yellow.
Yeah. And then also, like we mentioned, Ryan Steele is here in the universe. Will he be a VR trooper, or is he just kind of there?
Wait, which character is Ryan?
The one named Ryan.
Okay, no. Which in the story? I didn't check the names of those. Which character was that?
He's the guy that's hugging on the Aisa lookalike.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, yeah, that looks like.
Yeah,
Ryan
he looks a
Steele.
lot like Ryan Steele. So I mean, that has to be him. And so I mean, they call him Ryan. They don't ever say Ryan Steele, but you can infer that's Ryan Steele.
Yeah.
So
what if they make him like a Gold Ranger or something like that? Because that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of a neat little reference to the fact that the original idea in Zeo was that the reason why they have Brad Hawkins voice Trey of Triforia is because one of their plans. Now, granted, this is just a rumor, but they were talking about how they were going to have Ryan Steele come into Power Rangers and be the Gold Ranger. Like they were going to canonize VR Troopers.
Yeah.
Because I I think Zia was airing around the time that Big Bad Beetleborgs came out, so VR Troopers would have been done by that point.
It's possible.
I'm trying to remember when VR Troopers actually came on TV. Was it 98 or was it?
No, VR
it's before
Troopers. VR Troopers was 93. I'm pretty certain. No, 94.
It was like 94 because it was around the time that.
Hold on, let me look. You have me curious now.
Right.
September 3rd, 94 is when it premiered.
Oh, okay.
Man, we should
And
start trying to review
Beetleborgs
some Metal Hero series so that we can review so that we can also review those VR Troopers and Big Bad Beetleborgs.
and
That'd be fun.
Beetleborgs premiered.
Yeah.
Beetleborgs premiered literally 2 years later
Oh wow.
in '96. So
Okay, so Big Bad Beetleborgs was airing when Zia was airing. Okay.
yeah,
Now,
and then
the cool
Metallics
thing,
ran for the year after that. But yeah,
Yeah. Now, the fact that VR Troopers is in the comic brings up a very interesting thing that I think needs a little bit of discussion. So, I had assumed that when Saban sold off everything to Disney the first time, when I was like transferred during the Wild Force Ninja Storm time period, that the rights to things like VR Troopers, Masked Rider, Big Bag Beetleborgs, and Karen and Nogue were lost or not included in the package because we never see any reference to them ever again in a comic or in a TV show or anything. And so it's interesting that, literally 30 years later, we're seeing VR Troopers referenced again. And some of the preview art I've seen for issue 2 does have some more VR Trooper references on it. So if we're going to see more VR Troopers in this comic line, does that open the door to us having Big Bag Beetleborgs? Does that open the door to Mystic Knights Return to Nogue, Masked Rider? I mean, there's a lot of things here that we could do now.
Honestly, I would really wish that they would do that with Boom Studios. I think Masked Rider did kind of finish its story, but to my knowledge, Big Bad Beetleborgs ended on kind of a cliffhanger. Like it
ended on an absolute cliffhanger. There's no way you can call it kind of a cliffhanger. That was a bad cliffhanger to end on. Sorry, I have feelings about that.
I don't think that VR Troopers ended with them defeating, what was it? I think his name was Grimlord.
Yeah, Grimlord or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so I would love for them to make. Now, granted, I don't know if they'd be able to do that now because I know that VR Troopers and Big Bad Beetleborgs were really popular when they came out, but I don't think that they have the same legacy as Power Rangers. But I would like to see maybe a continuation with Boom Studios comics, even if you tie it in with Power Rangers to kind of give some finality to those shows. Because it really bothers me how those shows just
it's weird how you bring that up, especially because Beetleborgs had a very big comic book theme in its show.
Yeah.
Where the Beetleborgs were comic characters, was a comic series that they were fans of, and their powers were literally just the powers from the comics made real. So it's literally begging to be made into a comic series.
It is. And the other one, Nate, Mystic Knights Return to Nogue also ended incomplete because the next season of Mystic Knights was canceled to create Lost Galaxy.
They canceled that for Lost Galaxy? That's stupid.
Yes. I didn't really express it in the Lost Galaxy review, but when I read that, after seeing Lost Galaxy, I was like, you couldn't have kept Mystic Knights going? That was a great TV show, in my opinion.
I mean, I can understand why. It only because Power Rangers in Space was so successful. That's why they said, "Hey, we're gonna do
definitely. I just wanted more Mystic Knights because they didn't end with a complete story. Things were left untold. A lot of things we could have done more with. So there's a lot of things that can be done here, assuming all the rights are still out there and now in Hasbro's hands, which means they're in Boom's hands.
Yeah, I would assume so. I would hope
Yeah.
so, at least.
Yeah, because I honestly assume this stuff after like the Saban era that maybe it just kind of lapsed and was in some kind of limbo somewhere. I never dreamt that it was still around in like a licensed package somewhere.
Yeah.
But then also the other thing that kind of backs up the claim, the tie into something topical. Today, as of this recording, we had some of the Heritage auction going on for the Power Rangers estate, and some of the things that were on sale in the catalog were stuff from Big Bag Beetleborg. So some of the suits from that were also on sale for bidding. Which, if they had been if they've been transferring the suits around that much, I mean, that's 30 years of storing it somewhere. That kind of lends credibility to the fact that, hey, these rights are still in the package.
Yep. But do we have anything else to add, like, just regarding the comic itself?
I haven't found anything about if this is the same Zardos as the one from the original series.
I don't think we're going to know that for quite some time. The other thing I do want to note real quick, Mark is half Aquisin.
Yeah, I mentioned that when I was going over the synopsis.
Yeah, that's still a really cool thing. Because when I was first reading it, I knew he looked different, but I couldn't quite tell what he was until they outright said it.
Yeah.
And then also, there is an Aquisin next to the president when they're doing the deal with the Eltarians, with Zardos. And she looked a lot like Delphine.
Yeah, she did.
So, I mean, I'm just saying...
Hopefully we'll learn more as the series goes on.
Well, I'm a little concerned about that because if Delphine was there in that scene and the Eltarians are trying to kill the Rangers, Delphine's a Ranger, does that mean they killed her early on and we're never going to see her now, or what?
I don't know, because I think they only became Rangers due to the influence of Zordon, but since Zordon isn't quite here, there really is no Power Rangers without him. So,
well, the Samurai Rangers are still there, and
they existed, but it says this is long before Zordon was ever a thing, anyway.
Yeah. Something else I think is worth noting: if you look at Rita's fingers in that last page, and if you look at her fingers in the first page, you're gonna see the colors of red, pink, blue, green, yellow, which are coincidentally the colors for Zeo and for Samurai. And so I think that's foreshadowing that this team could inherit one of the two power sets when they form the team for Power Rangers Prime.
They'll probably lean more towards Zeo, probably, though, given... No, not Zeo, Samurai, because of Lauren being there.
Well, that begs the question then, what will Orion be? Because he's Silver Megaforce in the main continuity.
Maybe they could just have him don his own... I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting because it could be a hodgepodge of like, here's the Red Samurai Ranger, here's the Silver Megaforce, here's random Yellow Ranger, something. So I mean, there's a lot of possibilities of things that could happen here.
Yeah.
It could also be that the existing characters like Ryan, Lauren, and Orion will don their own suits from the main continuity, while the Eltarian, the Aquisin, they will become a new team of Rangers on their own.
I think that's probably... I don't know. There's a ton of different directions that they can go, and it's definitely something that we should... It's definitely intriguing, but I don't think we can comment much else because this is more like just a comic to kind of establish the story here.
And guys, by the way, this Rita right here, not to be played with. I'm just telling you it right now. This is the same Rita from the I guess original Boom comics, if that makes sense. Yeah, she's the real deal. She's not as insane or as like a little more kill crazy as she was in the audio drama, but she's just as bad. Is all I'm gonna say. She's not. She doesn't make any jokes. She's not complaining about headaches and all that. She's very tactical, very skillful, and when she loses, she doesn't get a temper tantrum. She actually just like is frustrated, but just wants to concede into another plan.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, she already looks pretty intimidating, so I can already tell she's going to be awesome.
And I don't know.
Dude, in the beginning of the first issue of the Mighty Morphin Boom comics, she is. I think her portrayal of the character was very interesting because I'll do a slight, tiny spoiler. She kind of messes with Tommy a little bit after he joins the Rangers or whatever.
I mean, that's similar to the audio drama, is it not?
Similar, yeah, but like this is after he's with the Rangers now, and so she's still using her little magic to kind of mess with him a little bit to kind of make him doubt his ability and all that, being with the Rangers, et cetera, et cetera.
That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do we have any other closing thoughts we want to add? I mean, Riz, was there any other major thing you wanted to bring up?
No, I think that's the main hitters. Is just we established a new universe, we established the characters, and we have a lot of fan theories running around that we need to really kind of vet as we get into issue 2 and beyond.
Yeah. Okay. Patrick, Anthony, you guys want to add anything before we wrap up here?
Nah.
All right.
I'm just along for the ride, I guess. Just waiting to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, for everybody, this was just a quick review of issue 1 for Power Rangers Prime. We will be reviewing all other issues at least once a month. Definitely intrigued by this. So, if you guys are a big fan of the comics, or even if you're not, just try to give a listen to just to see if some of this stuff intrigues you, because who knows? I mean, I wasn't really a big fan of the comics until just recently, and now I kind of enjoy reading a lot of them. So, yeah, definitely something to check us out on. But we will catch you guys next time when we return to our regular series of reviewing Sentai, whether it be Boom Boomger or Go Onger. We will see you guys then. But until then, bye for now. If you enjoyed listening to the Toku Secrets podcast, please check us out at animesecrets.org and follow us on all our social media pages such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also feel free to check out our other podcasts, including Anime Declassified and the Jedi Squadron. You can also leave us any feedback you'd like to offer us directly on our website. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we thank you so much, and please leave us a rating out of 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave any comments down below, as we love to take the time to read comments left on our channel and give our fans, shout-outs. If you have any seasons of Super Sentai, Power Rangers, or other tokusatsu shows that you'd like for us to check out, please don't hesitate to say so in your feedback. With all that said, we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our podcast, and we will see you next time as we continue our never-ending journey through the world of tokusatsu. But until that time, you all stay safe, we love you, and may the power protect you.